Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos and welcome to This Week in Mythic Plus. This week's affixes are Tyrannical, Bolstering, Explosive, and of course Encrypted. This week I kind of want to talk about Bolstering because the change has been pretty dramatic to it this season, but I still see some people that I've played with playing against Bolstering like it is how it used to be, or more commonly just still forgetting about it and then getting owned by it. So Bolstering this season, it has a duration on targets, right? And why are all my gambit routes just lines on things? It has a duration, and it doesn't affect boss mobs anymore. So this means a few things. First of all, still respect the affix. Many pug groups, many people that you just run into in LFG will still play not enough around Bolstering, and would do better to just still treat it with the same or more respect than they currently do. But there are some points of counterplay to it now. So for instance, if you accidentally bolster this thing up to 10 stacks or whatever, well, first off, you're going to die to its Tidal Stomp. But if you get lucky and you're between Tidal Stomp casts or something, it Tidal Stomps and then it gets bolstered. Or if we're talking about some kind of different mob, like maybe we go to DOS and maybe we're talking about this thing getting bolstered, right? This Risen Warlord. That is something where the strategy of kiting until you drop those bolstering stacks is not like intuitive to people yet, because bolstering, of course, that didn't used to work, right? You didn't used to be able to just kite out the end of the bolster, but now you can. So do that, kite against the affix more. The other thing to think about with bolstering is it's now legal to pull stuff onto bosses if you want. So you do have to be a little bit careful because explosive, right? Explosive is going to be something if you got 7 mobs that you're in combat with, explosive is going to be a lot more annoying than if you don't. So especially if you're like dragging them from somewhere. But doing something like this onto this is very valid if you are okay with that. And yeah, it's something that can save time now versus obviously before you really didn't want to bolster a boss. That was tragic, but now bosses don't get bolstered, so do stuff like this if you see opportunities for it, and I think that's good. If obviously a lot of groups you're never pulling trash onto bosses, and that's fine. Explosive is another affix. So the explosive, the only room that I have anything to say specifically about explosive about this season is this garbage, which obviously if you're fighting all of this at once, you're going to have explosive overwhelming you, right? You've got it spawning in all 4 quarters. If you're in combat with all 4 of these, right, the way you want to do this is you divide the room up into 4 and assign each of these 4 to somebody, right? That can mean that one person's like watching 2 quadrants, and then one person's watching this one, and one person's watching this one, or you can actually assign all 4 to different people. But doing something like that is definitely the best way to handle the affix in this room. The other thing you can do that's even better, potentially, if you aren't playing with a bunch of people that will just ignore you, some kind of moonkin that's going to starfall and hit everything, is actually just pull the first souls or walk past them and just pull the second ones. So the way it works is if you don't actually tag them with anything offensive, they won't be in combat with you until I don't even think that they do after the Dark Communion cast or anything like that. I think you can literally just finish off these ones and then move back over here and do these ones, and that will help you manage the explosive side of things because they won't be spawning explosives. The final option that you have, it is a Tyrannical week. One thing to consider is, do we have enough damage to just burn this guy before the second Dark Communion cast, right? You pull him, he does a Dark Communion pretty quick, and then he doesn't do another Dark Communion for like 30 seconds. So if you can nuke him down before that's done, maybe you don't need to worry about explosive at all. So the way you do that on Explosive Week is you pull the boss up behind line of sight here, so you're lining all the explosives that are spawning down here, and you just kill it. You just kill the boss, the mini-boss, before it reaches that second cast. And yeah, doing that is a big time save. Potentially you can use Bloodlust for that. It's a better Bloodlust than the bosses, I would say, if it's letting you make that skip. You can also, instead of using the Stoneborn on this boss, you could use one Stoneborn on the boss, and then the other Stoneborn you can pull in as the boss is dying, mind control it right before you go through the door, and have it helping you kill this. So yeah, that's something that, depending on your keystone level, depending on your group composition, it might be an option to make this room easier. But yeah, this is the only real room that I've felt explosive angst in. All right, so yeah, those are the affixes. Those are some thoughts. Hope you have some good keys this week. Good luck out there. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.